The MMA fighter, who was well known as the War Machine, has been sentenced in a case where he beat an ex-girlfriend by the name of Christy Mack. John War Machine Koppenhaver is his name, and a judge just sentenced him 36 years to life. So War Machine was sentenced to 36 years to life. His sentence includes the possibility of parole after 36 years, and he would be 71 years old at the time of potential parole. The story was a rather hideous one, especially when you read into the details of what he did to Christy Mack, but he has been convicted of 29 counts. He allegedly forced her to strip naked and repeatedly punched and kicked her, breaking several of her teeth. Also, this happened in her Las Vegas home. He showed up, she was there with another male. They were apparently broken up at the time, but all of that is irrelevant if you ask me. He became incredibly jealous and started physically assaulting both of them. The guy escaped, but unfortunately Christy Mack was not able to escape before he caused significant damage to her. Now, while Mack was lying on the floor in the bathroom, Koppenhaver told her, "That's my pussy, I'm going to take it back now." Koppenhaver then licked his hand and put it on her vagina. He told her that he was going to rape her, but he could not get hard and he was mad about it. She suffered significant injuries and was hospitalized as a result of that. Police say that War Machine threatened Mack with a knife, and when he left the kitchen to find a sharper one to, quote, finish the job, Mack was able to escape through a back door. Her injuries included 10 broken bones, a broken nose, missing and broken teeth, a fractured rib, and a severely ruptured liver from a kick to her side. The pictures that we're about to show you are graphic, but if that description wasn't enough for you, take a look at this. These are pictures of her in the hospital recovering.
He also cut her hair off.
Yeah, he did.
In the middle of it all, which is just terrible.
Yeah, and he had situations where he assaulted people in the past. Like he had a record of assault.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that also played a role in the judge's decision to sentence him so harshly. But he seemed pretty unapologetic after this became a big story. And he's a dangerous guy. I mean, look at what he did to her. It's insane.
So his name is no longer John Koppenhaver. It is literally, legally War Machine. Though throughout the trial he used Koppenhaver.
Yeah, I wonder why.
So that people would not refer to him as War Machine the same way that you put on a suit. But that didn't, the things that made news throughout this whole ordeal, in addition to what you mentioned, those were the main ones. But also he laughed during her account of the situation in the middle of the courtroom. His lawyer tried to get, objected to the inclusion of him laughing in the account from the court. And the judge just said, no, I watched him laugh and made it happen. He also later on attempted suicide and left a note, which you can read, in which it just is pretty clear that he still did not really understand or allow himself to understand the full weight of his actions. And that's the kind of thing that contributes to him getting this kind of sentence, is that along the way there was just no real remorse. Although there are plenty of times when he says he's sorry, he still says things like, I forgive you, I hope you forgive me. Because he, in the course of his suicide note, thought that they were still together when he caught her with another man.
Yeah.
That's this man is dangerous.
Yes.
How could you, it's hard for me to see why you would argue against this ruling.
Well, it's interesting because, this is prior to the ruling, right? But I remember when this story made headlines a couple years ago, obviously Cenk and I denounced his behavior. We spoke out against it. And then there were a number of people supporting him, and they were like, Christy Mack is a slut, and she was in her home with another man, and that's what she deserves. For me, look, the story itself is incredibly disturbing, but this wave of people who feel the need to defend this man's actions, that's even more disturbing to me. That people can look at this story, can look at those photos, read the description of what he did, read the list of injuries she suffered, and still feel the need to defend him and say, no, totally justified in what he did. She was there with another man. I don't care if she was there with a UFO. I don't care if she was there with his brother, okay? I don't care. No one, whether you're a man or a woman, has the right to put their hands on another human being. You just don't have the right.
Right.
Right. He doesn't own her. And let's say for the sake of argument, she is a slut. Who gives a shit? She can you be a slut, live your life. That doesn't mean you get to be beaten almost to death.
Right, exactly.
I mean, yes, she's an adult film star. Like but there's nothing wrong with what she was doing at the time. There's everything wrong with it. In his suicide note, with what he did, in his suicide note, he has this weird interpretation of what might have happened had he not beaten the guy up. He said maybe something to the effect of, maybe I could have laid down on our bed and cried, and she would have realized that she loved me and held me.
That is such a conditional.
Yeah, and he was more taken aback by the fact that she was shouting to protect the man that War Machine was beating up.
Right.
And he said, maybe I should have let him beat me up, and then it would have been great if she would have yelled to protect me. It's just this strange mix of him playing the victim and being this war machine.
Yeah, well, him playing the victim apparently worked with some people, some of his supporters, some of his defenders. But at least at the end of the day, justice is served, and the judge realized that this guy's dangerous, and just refuses to take any responsibility for any wrongdoing, and it's a scary situation.
What's in TYT membership? Not gonna tell you. Only one way to find out. TYTnetwork.com/join.